My father was the way that he was, and he became an alcoholic because he had things in his past that he hadn't worked through. And the thing that he hadn't worked through is when he was 12 years old, my father heard a gunshot. He walked into the room and his dad had just shot himself in the mouth with a shotgun. And so my dad grew up in rural Tennessee. This is 1960s when this happened, 1960s when this happened. There wasn't a whole lot for him to understand it. There weren't podcasts, there weren't books to read like we have nowadays. And so I always consciously knew that what was happening was that he had not healed his pain. And Gabor Mate says, don't ask why the trauma, ask why the pain. And when I first heard Gabor Mate, I was like, oh my God, someone's finally saying what I always thought with my father. And so, we can look at him and say, oh yeah, he's an alcoholic and he didn't overcome his trauma. The trauma, the way it came up in my life is I became a workaholic. And so I didn't, sometimes we could see someone and say, oh, they drink too much alcohol, they do too much drugs, they eat too much food. And we can say, oh yeah, that's their addiction. The problem and the hard thing in our society is that my addiction of workaholic is rewarded and people look up to it and they're like, you're doing so great. You're making so much money. All of this is so good. And what I came to find is that my workaholism was just basically me trying to not feel my feelings and to not work through and process those things. Like scrolling on social media could be that way for somebody. It could be, some people are addicted to working out. Some people are addicted to, watching TV and there's so many, some people are addicted to shopping. There's so many different addictions that we have. And what I found is that the hardest thing for me was to stop and to just not have to. I was always trying to fill every single moment of my day, always try to be so busy. When I didn't have something to do, I'd find something to do in my business. Businesses, you can always work all day, every day. And so what I've tried to do and I've built in my business is a lot of systems and processes through my VP of operations has really helped me with this a ton, to be able to take a lot of stuff off my plate so that I have more time to just be.